I gave Neon Genesis Evangelion a 7. The more I think about this anime, the more I love it. I would definitely give it at least an 8 today. Maybe a 9. You know what? Masterpiece. Masterpiece. I was too young. I was too young and too dumb.
Neon Genesis Evangelion is my favorite anime. I wonder how many people are gonna dislike the video without watching the first 30 seconds. This video is meant to be watched by people who already have seen Evangelion and the end of Eva movie if you want anything to make sense. Viewer discretion is advised. I am self-aware that there is a level of expectation when talking about Evangelion on the internet. Not only because the series is held in high regard, but also because everything has been said, and in Eva's case, everything has been heard as well. I can talk about how I think the 26 episode anime is a near perfect constructed anime, and how I think that the end of Evangelion movie is literally a cinematic masterpiece, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I will tell you my journey how Evangelion on my first watch through went from being an anime I hated to the point I cursed even the people who made it to now Evangelion being my favorite anime ever.
Are you winning, son?
No, Dad, I'm talking to some friends. Can you please close the door? Sorry about that. Where did I leave? Evangelion is a very diverse anime. Some love it and some hate it. The first time I watched Evangelion, I had this level of expectation for it. It is something weird to describe, but each episode I was gathering clues and trying to create what it makes it so great later on. But later on, by episode 14, I was just watching so I could get to the ending. And by the end, I just felt empty. After finishing the end of Evangelion, my reaction was, that's it? As I was expecting something more. But I deeply realized that I was wrong. In my second watch, I realized that I wasn't expecting something more. I was expecting something else. The early episodes of Evangelion in a rewatch are easy to follow. The story is very direct and you can appreciate the cinematography. Not only Anno made an anime in 1995 that is literally shot like a movie, but even the best movies will be a weird paradox seen as good as Eva in their shots and cinematography. But the assumption that the technicality of Evangelion is what makes it my favorite anime is very superficial, because it's very far from the truth. So what made Evangelion click the second time around compared to the first time around? Let me tell you a story. When I was a kid, my father took me in this long ride with a car. It was just the two of us and I was really having a great time. To be honest, I don't remember much about it, but I remember being the simplest fun I have ever had. The purest emotions in the purest way you can think of them. Now, another day my dad promised that he will take me there again. It was a great feeling of anticipation for myself, but unfortunately my dad didn't come home for lunch that day after work. I was waiting for him and I asked my mama hundreds of times when will he be back, and he finally called us. As I looked at my mom's face as she talked to him, expecting an answer that he's on his way home, but the answer was that he got busy with work and wasn't coming. I waited for him to come home after dinner, which was pretty late for my schedule back then, and after a while he came home. When he walked into the house, I looked at him and he expected 100% to see a crying kid at him, and I could see that in his face. But instead, he got a different me. A kid who actually understood him and was okay with everything. So what does that have to do with Evangelion? I learned that if you remove the expectations, not only you can get one more chance that will be perfect, but in your reality you can create the potential for infinite chances to always regain what you want. And as weird as that can sound, that is my metaphorical way of relating my little childhood story to how I feel about Evangelion. It is literally my bipolar anime. I accepted it fully for what it is now. It spoke to me more as a person than anything ever could. When I see people try to explain why Evangelion isn't good, their arguments fall flat. Eva isn't a series that I would ever analyze the way I analyze most media. Imagine yourself as a fictional character and your life as a fictional story. Sure, it might be a bit boring, but would you claim that you would be a bad written character? No matter how much we try to explain motivation or human nature, we as beings are way more complex than a sheet of paper or a piece of film can depict us. But I never came across a piece of work, a piece of art that does it better than Evangelion to me. Eva characters aren't just characters. They are pieces of me going through life. And the more I see their journeys, the more I reflect on my own. The more I relate myself into the stories, the more the characters feel that piece of me. I don't think it takes a very intelligent person to appreciate Evangelion, the same way it doesn't take a film critic or a film student to tell you that 2001 A Space Odyssey is a cinematic masterpiece. Everyone can understand Evangelion, but I believe only few people can connect to it beyond that appreciation. You might consider my following words to be just egoistical, but to people who feel the same way about Evangelion as I do, will understand that Evangelion is meant to be only for people who understand themselves. It's a triumph to self-care, to loving yourself, and both endings to me are equally the biggest victory I ever felt on consuming media. Something of comfort. I can go back and remind myself that beyond my regrets and failures, I can still find happiness beyond my simple means of escapism, beyond my deluded ideas of what happiness is, as long as I am alive. And remember that everything that matters to me matters to the world. I will be happy one day. That day might not be today or tomorrow, or might take a long time depending on where you are in life right now, but that possibility is not just an idea, but it can always become reality. That is what Evangelion means to me. It might not be your typical story of improvement, far from it. All you can ever get from it is just acceptance. Evangelion, in a way, opened a new thought in my head on how I should perceive the media I consume. The hours I spend in front of my screen that I don't own anything, should it just be for pure entertainment, just to get the heart of fun stories, or is there more to it? Do I just want to cry at every single story I consume and just become immortal to my true feelings of happiness? Neither of them are the case. I know Evangelion is a true work of art in every sense of that statement. To innovate but not imitate. To demonstrate that all limits are fake. Eva is the kind of series that inspires you to make art. Episode 22 is by far my favorite episode in any piece of work that even has episodes, that inspires me to keep moving forward. The ending of the original Evangelion made me understand that there are just as many versions of me as there are people who know me. And the end of the Evangelion movie just made me understand the blink of the situation we are in this world. Like you just close your eyes open and nothing is really there, so it's just a moment between us and that. My rewatch didn't recontextualize the whole Eva series for me. I just removed my expectations of it. I didn't focus a lot on every single plot point. I just understood what is going on and I turned my disappointment into acceptance. The same way I accepted the fact that my dad was busy that day and couldn't take me to the trip. Because at the end of the day, what I got from Eva is a lesson that I will never forget. That I will forever have the possibility and the potential to be happy in me with those I love or find people that I love. So as long as that potential exists in me, there is nothing to worry about. And that potential always is in me. And what I got from accepting my dad's position and situation and circumstance, from understanding I will forever be able to go out with my dad and will forever be happy. Just accept the little things for what they are and move on to true happiness that will ever have the potential to come later on.
Hey son, is everything okay?
Hey dad, I'm sorry about earlier. You know, I lied, dad. I'm not playing games or talking to friends, and you might not even understand this, but I am just talking to myself. trying to put my opinions about Japanese cartoon online because I want to feel accepted, Dad. I'm tired, Dad, and I just seek any kind of appreciation in any way. I just can never put myself out there in real life, so I just put myself here under an anime profile picture and hoping that in any form human validation will come to me to just cure my loneliness, Dad. That I can't even win anymore. There is no such thing as winning in this, and I can't even lose that. I'm just eternally looped in this paradox of waiting for something of worth to happen, but just every day and more I lose hope because nothing is happening. I'm just tired, Dad. That's all.
I don't really understand all that, but just so you know, I love you, son.
O me de to